Hello there, ladies and gentlemen, this is Spider, and welcome back to another review. Now, in the past, we've reviewed a few different figures of the standard Battle Droid, but now it's time to take a look at the other types, starting with the Star Wars Saga Legends number 28 Super Battle Droid. This figure released back in 2011, however, the mold originally came out in 2008, I believe, and they're based on their appearance from Star Wars Attack of the Clones. Or really just the prequel era in general. But Attack of the Clones is where the Super Battle Droid first appeared, I believe. Anywho, now, I usually start off my reviews by taking a look at the packaging, but I don't have any anymore. So, here's a trash can instead. Why? Because why not? Anyways. Now, onto the figure. Alrighty, here we have the Saga Legends number 28 Super Battle Droid. And I keep specifying the number because there are actual multiple Super Battle Droids in the Saga Legends line, so just making sure you know which one this is. Anyways, we'll start off with the Articulation. Now, there's no real joint at the head, but then again, what head? The shoulders can move about that far out. You can move a bit in, and I don't know if you can hear it, but you can't really hear it, but the shoulder is on kind of a clicky sort of joint, which is interesting. The arm can go all the way around. There's no bicep rotation, but there is a rotation here at the forearm, so you can get him in the classic Super Battle Droid pose, which can go all the way around. There's no real limit to where it stops. There's bend at the elbow, but you can get a decent bend out of it. Nothing at the wrist. He does have a waist joint. Allows him to get an arching back. You can't really get a crunch out of it, however. It's unfortunate, but whatever. It can rotate all the way around, if you so wish. The legs can kick about that far forward, and only that far back. Nothing really else you can do at the hip, and then you bend at the knee, and again, you get a decent bend. Nothing at the ankle. So, he's got a decent amount of articulation. It's pretty good. Not great, but not bad. You get what you need him to do, which is mostly just pointing. Anywho, now we should move on to the details. Bring the figure up close and personal like. We'll take a look at its details. As you can see, the figure is casted in this bluish gray plastic, which looks nice. And you got the face, I guess? That's the face, right? We're calling it the face. You got the face there. Got two little indentions for what would be the eyes, maybe? Or is that an eye? I don't know. But anyways, you got a red dot there for whatever that's supposed to be on the actual machine. You got the chest here. And I like how there is like some blackish paint kind of splattered all over it to kind of make it look sort of dirty. So it looks like it's been through quite a few battles, and it's not, fresh off the assembly line or anything like that. So it's a worn, torn Super Battle Droid. Anyways, you got the arm with some pretty good detail going on there. And then you got the barrels of the blaster. You got me bumping the camera. You got his hand. Some pretty good detailing there. You got the inside of the arm. You got the other arm, which is a bit different, because only got one arm cannon. See, this arm is a bit smoother. You got the lower torso. Some pretty good detailing going on there. You got the legs. You've got detail on the bottom of the feet. You also got, Hasbro stamp and whatnot. And you got the back of the figure. Looks pretty good. You got all the details that you would really want for the Super Battle Droid. It looks pretty cool. Oh, that's bright. Yeah, it looks pretty good. Now, we shall move on with accessories. Starting off with the stand. This is a pretty standard Star Wars stand. It comes with quite a few different figures. You got Star Wars on the front there, it's casted in silver. And you got some words on the bottom of it, if you want to read those. Yeah, nothing special, but it works. Two pegs, plugs into 2 feet, and there you go, you got the Super Battle Droid on the stand. Which I do like that, and I think more figures should come with stands. Especially ones that are more like collector orientated, like, you know, like the Vintage Collection series and the Black series, like, those should come with stands. But they don't, because they don't. It also comes with a card and a dice for a game that I don't know how to play. We'll take a look at them. You see, whoa, this is bright. You can see for the image there, you got a scene from Attack of the Clones. Then you got a bunch of stats and stuff that factor into the game somehow. And then you got the back of the card, which actually tells you how to play said game, but I don't really care to read it. But if you want to, you can go ahead and do that. And that's pretty much it for the card. Slide it into the front of the stand. That's a cool little display. And then you got the dice with a bunch of symbols that also factor into the game in some way, shape, or form. Yeah, so that is it for the Super Battle Droid, the Saga Legends Super Battle Droid. Now we should move on to the size comparisons. Okay, to start off the size comparisons, as always, here it is with a Lego minifigure. The Pack of Destruction minifigure Mothra. The Pack of Destruction minifigure Godzilla. Alright, now into some more relevant size comparisons. Here it is with the Star Wars, the Clone Wars regular Battle Droid. I'm keeping him on the stand because he would not stand otherwise. Here it is with the Vintage Collection number 78 Battle Droid. Here it is with the Star Wars Episode 3 Obi-Wan Kenobi. He'll stand up. Doesn't seem like he wants to. That. And just because, here he is with the Galaxy of Adventures Luke Skywalker. You can see the Super Battle Droid is a bit bigger, but that is accurate, because I'm pretty sure the Super Battle Droid is like over 6 feet tall in canon or something like that. And finally, here he is with the previous review, the Bandai 12-inch Final Wars Godzilla, who is quite a bit bigger, as you can tell. Okay. Alrighty, now that we're done with the size comparisons, it's measuring time! Get out measuring tape. Set up him. Set it up beside him. As you can see, it is a little over 4 inches. So, decent sized figure. For, you know, the scale that it is. And before we move on, there's one more thing I want to talk about. I actually meant to mention this during the details, but I forgot, so we're mentioning it here. If you can see here, there's that little notch over there, and there's one over here as well. And those are because the original version of this figure had 2 holes in the chest, so you could plug in a flame effect. which obviously this one doesn't come with. Yeah, that was supposed to make the figure look like it was set on fire, kind of like what R2 did in Revenge of the Sith. So yeah, if you've ever had this figure and you noticed those two notches and you were wondering what they were, now you know. Alrighty, now we move on to the end of the video. So that is pretty much it for the review, and overall, it's pretty good. You know, there are some lacking maybe a little bit of articulation in the legs, would have preferred a bit more, but overall, it's a pretty solid Super Battle Droid figure. So much so that this mold was actually reused in the Vintage Collection line. That's pretty cool. Although I do not recommend getting that figure, simply because it's literally just this, but more expensive because it's Vintage Collection. So, yeah, don't bother. It's literally just this. I mean, there is some slight paint differences, but overall, it's the same mold. They didn't do anything really that different with it. So just get this, or any of the other versions that exist, because I think the mold was reused like 4 different times, which is understandable, because it's a pretty good mold. And if you wanted this for yourself, on eBay, as of the recording of this video, it's going for around $18-ish out of the box. And if you wanted one brand new, it's going for $25 to $40. So, a little expensive, but if you can find one for a decent price, it's definitely worth it. This is a pretty good addition to anyone's collection. So, that's all I've got to say. Hope you all enjoyed. See you later. Sayonara. Bye.